Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of FitzRupee Cast featuring DoW2, the Elite Mod. Red-Rupee here calling the shots for you tonight, as always, as we head into another great 2-on-2 match here on Golgotha Depths. Man, it's late. I got to my casting late tonight. I was watching some Hearthstone World Finals. They did the top 16 this weekend before BlizzCon. And man, that last matchup between Run and Gun and Frozen Ice. If you like Hearthstone or card games at all, go check out that series. That is a seriously intense series of games there. Anyways, let's get this done before the night is over. It's my birthday tomorrow, or I guess actually now if you're watching it today, it's today, so happy birthday to me. Anyways, taking a look at our players, we've got Floid as the big old hide tyrant here, obviously with a contentious alliance with AceofSwords as the Force Commander. Look at that sweet elite model there. Man, that's a cool looking Force Commander. And then of course, the opposing team, the Reds, playing as a pair of Chaos Heroes. The Plague Champion over here, Fear, alongside of Super Hooper, returning once again as the Chaos Lord. We are on Golgotha Depths, as I already mentioned. Nice central battlefield here. Some contested power nodes on the far side of the map as the skirmishes get going in the center. We've got Floyd doing his usual shenanigans, bringing some Spore Mines onto the field early on. Fear going for a quick double Chaos Space Marines as the Plague Champion, as would be expected. That's pretty typical of the Plague Champ. I don't know if I like it in 2s as much as in 3s. I feel like it doesn't quite give the resource and utility that you need, but it could work out in 2-on-2. Force Commander getting a nice series of special attacks there to open up the engagement against the Plague Champ. Oh man, great use of the Spore Mines by Floyd, stalling the entire Chaos ally there, allowing them to double up on Fear in this early engagement. Excellent play. Those Spore Mines really freak out opponents. You don't want to get caught up in those. You really need to deal with them quickly, so it's kind of expected that if you just throw them at a good choke point right here like we saw Floyd do, you can kind of stall out the ally just long enough if you're both in the center to double up. And now with Super Hooper off the field, or sorry, with Fear off the field, Super Hooper has to deal with the threat of both the Tyranid and Space Marine forces on his own. There's one squad of the Chaos Space Marines kind of peppering away here at the Force Commander, but for the time being, Super Hooper's just fallen back. Both players have to be very careful with how they approach the central point. Doing a lot of little back and forth run and gun in here, trying to weaken up these forces for the coming engagement. Doing a good job of stalling out without taking too terribly much damage. The Chaos Lord does get forced off by the Tyranid forces here. A big range blob here in the center. Both Termagants, the attack Marines, and the Scouts. Force Commander trying to do what he can to cause a little disruption over here. With the Plague Champs moving in, getting his mucus discharged, so he's going to be doing some healing work over here. As Heretics get gunned down, they do get the cap. A node goes up, but it's not going to be staying for very long if Super Hooper can't get out here and support it. He's bringing out some Raptors of his own, while both sides have their naturals. We can see the Blues also have their secondary power farm protected with a Devastator on the far side over there. Heretics already upgraded with their Aspiring Champions, so they can last a bit longer on the field. And it looks like the Blues are going to try to take down this Gen farm. Reds are moving in, though. They have plenty of support coming in. I'm not sure if it's going to be quite enough to deal with all this, especially if these Raveners coming out here, but the Assault Jump comes in from the Chaos Raptors, allowing the Chaos Lord to get in there without taking too much range damage. A Scout Grenade goes down. Big whiff on that one, though. And all of the Plague Marines range fire is going to start tearing away at these Scouts and Tyranid forces. Scouts get forced off, attacks get forced off. Chaos Lord trying to stick it in there, but after taking those Venom Sacks, he has to get out of there. Raveners going for their Burrow Strike, but everything's dodged pretty well. Already those Heretics took... Man, look at just the brief volley of those Devourer Raveners, taking a huge chunk of damage off of those Heretics. Those Devourers going to make the Raveners very versatile in either melee or ranged combat, so that Burrow Strike is going to be quite devastating if it lands, and those Raveners don't get forced off. We can see Iron Halo coming up on the Force Commander. Surprisingly, not seeing any Assault Space Marines from AceofSwords. That's normally a staple of the Force Commander build, with the Force Commander and the Assault Marines between the two. that's some pretty serious disruption. But instead, he's been kitting out that Space Marine Force Commander, upgrading his scouts, going for a different build. I think it could work out. Fear going pretty heavy in Tier 1, getting both the Chaos Space Marines, and then on top of that, the Raptors as well. Chaos Havoc's coming out for Super Hooper, so there's going to be some good suppression on the field to try to control some of this Tyranid blob. Raptors coming in, suppressing the entirety of that mid-force there. Force Commander getting perilously low, trying to move in, but under lots of fire from those two squads of Space Marines and the Plague Champion. You really can't discount the DPS that those three forces are going to be putting out. Super Hooper gets completely forced off by the Raveners and the Hive Tyrant, and now the Devastators are laying suppressing fire into the Plague Champ's forces. That allowed the Tyranids to get in on them without taking too much damage. The Raptors do jump in from the far side, though. A good flank, maybe allowing the Reds to hold the center point here a bit longer. Both sides do have their respective power nodes at this moment. A nice grenade going down there on the Raptors, forcing them off. A little bit of friendly damage there, but it looks like it didn't do much in the way of model losses. Havoc's holding down this red power node from the marauding Hormagaunts that were trying to take that down. So both sides with full gen farms up. This is going to be probably a pretty quick tech match unless either side can get a gen bash in. The Blues are both heading into Tier 2 at the moment. Red's not too far behind. Only about half the tech time there, so they're going to be hitting Tier 2. Only about a minute behind the blue team, but that might grab a little window for the Blues to maybe get a quick vehicle or something like that onto the field. It looks like AceofSwords actually isn't going to have the resources for it. He may have actually bought something behind that Tier 2 upgrade. I feel like he should have more power right now. Floid, we just saw, made a big purchase as well. And right now the Force Commander is going solo against the entirety of the Chaos Forces. I don't know what this is going to accomplish. Maybe just trying to buy some time while they head into Tier 2. Librarian is coming onto the field for AceofSwords. That's going to be a huge boon going into Tier 2. Not really a big Tier 2 purchase, it's more of a support unit, but that Smite will do crazy damage to all of this heavy armor that's kind of just blobbing around in the center right now. And I think that'll be good in the long run. Hormagaunts did get the decap here, it looks like. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. The Raptors are moving in, but they are greatly outgunned at the moment. The Hormagaunts do get forced off, but the Raptors are not far behind them. It does maintain the grasp on the power gen farm here for the Reds. Their secondary gen farm is going to stay off for the time being. They're holding against Floyd's Tyranids at this particular moment. Oh man, and as soon as Fear hits Tier 2, he's going for those double siege upgrades. He's going to have the Inferno Bolters doing some serious range damage. If you thought it was bad before, this Librarian might melt if AceofSwords isn't paying attention. Look how quickly he's taken damage there. In the blink of an eye, down to half health, he is going to get out of there, it looks like, for the time being. And everything else is kind of a standoff over here on the red side. AceofSwords got to figure out what he wants to do. If they're not taking out this gen farm, all they're doing is stalling out their own VPs at the moment. Let the Galaxy Burn going down, keeping those Spore Mines from getting anywhere close. Those are going to go down before they manage to get off any good detonations. If I were to guess, looks like they might actually get in there and pop one right next to that garrison. But we have a zone probe on the field as well for the Tyranid forces, and everything is getting routed for Super Hooper. However, since the majority of the blue army was over there, they did lose their natural VP. They're going to start losing points at a rapid rate of 3-0 cap. And since it was only pretty much Super Hooper over there defending, Fears managed to go ahead and take down the far secondary power node, or power gen farm over here for the blue team. Double Inferno Bolters ripping through those Space Marines. They might even make it. Oh, no, I spoke too soon. I was going to say they might have made it out there without a model loss miraculously, but instead almost go down between the Plague Marine Dot, which does full damage on retreat, and those Inferno Bolters. Still taking crazy damage. Oh, no, I don't think Floyd's paying attention. He pulls some Raveners back, but just a second too late. Took a big burst of DPS right there. Unfortunately for the blue team, they hit Tier 2 a little ahead of their allies, but then they both chose to build support units. I'm not sure if that's kind of leading into this lower position I think they finally have here. They're sitting behind by about 200 VPs suddenly. Scouts going down as well that we're trying to cap up top. Those upgraded scouts leaving AceofSwords with only a single TAC Marine squad, the Devastators and the Librarians. Not really a force that can kind of stand against this kind of ranged firepower. The Zoanthrope's a great choice against what they're currently facing, but right now there's just no real way for them to approach this massive chaos blob here. We've got at least 2 Siege Marine already. We have a Mark of Corn Havoc as well, so the ranged firepower is only increasing at this point. Yeah, Super Hooper's Chaos Space Marines are upgraded to Siege as well. We also have the Armor of the Inferno, which will have a big AoE knockback and fire dot damage. So it's going to be really difficult for the Blues to approach this at all. Between the Chaos Lord running interference with his Let the Galaxy Burn, and of course his Demolishing Strike, or Sweeping Doom rather, on that big Blood Maul there from the Chaos Lord. Nice smite combined with the Force Commander's Battle Cry. He does have that big old Thunder Hammer right now, knocking everything around. Librarian's trying to get in there and do some damage as well. He's upgraded with his Force Staff. We saw that Force Field going down earlier. It's no longer a channeled ability. The Force Wall is a Fire and Forget spell, so it's a lot more viable now. Since it wasn't super 100% reliable, you often found the Librarian kind of stuck in a pile of approaching melee when he was trying to fire that if a couple of units managed to get around the Force barrier. Sweeping Doom going off, or no, that was a kill of the week actually. But still doing a good job right there. Good targeting priority there from Floyd. He was keeping the Zoanthrope focused on the Chaos Space Marines while the rest of the army was focusing down the Chaos Lord. People tend to forget that sometimes they'll use their AoE unit on a hero, and that's really just not particularly effective. Zoanthrope needs to be very careful here. Oh my goodness, it almost went down, but he pulled it back in just the nick of time. Hive Tyrant upgraded with the Venom Cannon, improved Synapse, and the Warp Field at this point in the game. Pretty reasonable threat right there. Very tanky, adding a lot of support to the Tyranid army. Although I think really he might want to just get in there and get one of these siege squads in melee instead of staying at range. Tactical Marine squad adding a little bit of support fire, finally starting to drop some models off these siege Marines and forcing them back. But the Plague Champ is set up in the back with this Shrine of Nurgle, allowing for healing and reinforcement when worshipped. Plague Champion attacking some barrels with his sword. Didn't quite want to approach the Tyranids, decided to go for an easier target. It's still anyone's game. The red team definitely has the advantage at the moment, but the Blues are trying to struggle their way back into it. Scouts with a retreat grenade there. And the Blues are down to under 200 BPs. Both sides have gotten gen bashes down on these secondary gen farms, but the Reds do control the center one with an additional gen right there. Blues are heading into tier 3. Red team not too far behind, at least on Super Hooper's side. I think Fear has invested a little bit more in this tier. With both of those siege upgrades, the Raptors, and of course a couple upgrades I think for his Plague Champion as well. But the Reds have plenty of time left to hold on to this game. Venom Cannon and Zoanthrope trying to take down that Shrine of Nurgle so they can force off the Chaos players a little more easily. Chaos Lord also upgraded with the Demonic Visage, which reduces the damage, I think, to lose of all nearby units that are around whenever he lands a strike in melee. Hive Tyrant goes down. Not a big deal for the blue team. Force Commander's moving in with that Veil of Time to get him back up. He's got the Iron Halo, so that's going to be no problem for him to pick him up. Plague Champion kind of doing everything they can. A little spin around dance there for the Hive Tyrant when he got up. He was very happy. Horn Havocs are not going to get set up. Force Commander seeing to that. Brief bit of suppression. He's out here way by himself. Floyd needs to get in there and support him. Looks like he's going to have to get out of there. He might be taking too much fire at the moment. Even if he retreats, I'm not sure he's getting out of there. That might have been a bit too brazen. Down he goes. Those Raptors made short work of him. Super Hooper now in Tier 3, along with the 2 blue players here still sitting in Tier 2 for the time being. 184 to 391. Got the Brood Nest up here, allowing these Tyranids to reinforce in the middle of this battle. Got the Devastator Marine sitting safely inside. Ooh, big Let the Galaxy Burn going down there. Tyranids, one squad of Termagants. Oh wow, both squads of Termagants managed to get out of there. I thought at least one of those was going down, but very fortunate there for Floyd to escape without losing a squad. That was a lot of ranged AoE right there. I figured the Raptors would be able to take them out. Nice smite going down. Unfortunately, if they don't manage to kill any models, that's going to be for naught, because these Space Marines are just going to retreat back to the safety of that Nurgle Shrine and fix themselves back up. Another force barrier going down there, knocking everything back, buying some time for the Librarian to retreat. Terminator Assault Squad on the field for Relic, as for AceofSwords, who's got the GG Relic there as his subtitle. I'm not sure Chaos is too scared of these Assault Terminators at the moment. They've got so much Inferno damage. They've got the Havocs blasting away here as well. And yeah, we see the Gate of Infinity going down, pulling those Terminators out before they lose any models. Really don't want those Terminators running in the tongue-tied against all of this on their own. Way too much Inferno damage doing lots. I don't think there's a modifier on super heavy infantry at all for the Inferno damage. I think it just does the full 100% damage against those Terminators. But the Blues just really having a difficult time approaching this position. The Chaos players really locked down. Lots of heavy infantry that's been difficult for them to break through. Oh man, it looks like Force Barrier accidentally went the wrong direction right there and messed up their own assault. Sometimes you get that mistake where you set up a Devastator and it's facing the opposite direction, since the Force Barrier has that same sort of UI setup where you have to click and drag which position you want to fire it. I think the same thing can happen with that it can fire backwards once in a while if your Librarian is in an awkward position. So we've got a Phobos coming on the field, we've got Chaos Terminators out, Carnifex not far off as well. Everything's gonna start heating up into Tier 3 at this point. The Reds have the center kind of locked down, like the blue team can't approach it at the moment, but the Blues managed to get the cap on the central VP, and that Havoc squad isn't quite firing up far enough for the Reds to take this uncontested. As I was saying earlier, I think I'm not sure if these Assault Terminators are going to be the best unless they can really get some melee in here to disrupt all this Inferno damage. Like, I feel like you want to get the Teleporter on the Force Commander. You want to be able to get him in there and disrupt with that Thunderhammer ASAP. And then maybe if the Hive Tyrant gets in there as well, then the Assault Terminators will have the chance to really disrupt and do the kind of long-lasting damage that those Terminators are known to do. But when they're just taking the focus fire of entire armies, they just can't stick around very long. Man, look at this nice looking Carnifex. This is one of the elite models as well, I believe. That is a nasty looking fella right there. He's getting upgraded with a Thornback, which I don't think they've seen the Phobos on the field yet, but they're going to realize that's probably the wrong choice. That Thornback's not going to be able to do too much running around on their own. We've got an initiation. The Terminators are moving in on that Nurgle Shrine. Force Commander's still way behind, though. These Terminators getting focused down just like kind of we saw earlier. They're out there without support. You really need some combined arms with those Terminators. The Tyranids are moving in, but still really nothing out there on their own. The Phobos is blasting away at the Carnifex. Force Commander still taking his time to move in there. Oh, we even have a zombie Terminator on the field from that Blade Sword. That's pretty excellent. I'm not sure I've even ever seen that. At least for a brief moment he was there. We've got, I think these might be Blood Sacrifice Bloodletters, because they didn't have those on the field before. Yeah, their energy is draining down, so that is in fact what it is. Looks like Carnifex in a lot of trouble. He was retreating from that Phobos, but got intercepted by the Chaos Raptors over there. might not be escaping. The Melta Bomb just went down. And yeah, that Carnifex is going to have a very short life indeed. Crashes through that wall, but not going to be escaping the Melta Pistols of those Raptors. Oh, it might actually got the charge down. The Raptors jump in for the last couple shots. Let's see if they get them. It's retreating into the hive, but no. They get the final hit, and down the Fex goes. A merciless pursuit from those Chaos Raptors with the Melta Pistols. Don't often see those, but in Tier 3, when there's a lot of vehicles on the field, man, they can be invaluable. The Phobos now moving in on this lone Devastator sitting in the Orc Guard Tower. Probably wants to get the heck out of there. Especially with those grenade launcher heretics, yeah. AceofSwords recognizes the peril. He's got himself a Predator coming on the field here shortly. That's still going to need to be used very carefully. There are some anti-vehicle threats. Obviously, the Phobos itself, huge anti-vehicle potential. And then we do have both the Noise Marines, the Chaos Terminators with their autocannon. And is the Khorne Havoc still alive? I don't believe it went down. Yeah, the Khorne Havoc is up, but it's over here on the far side, just keeping an eye, making sure the Nids aren't doing any flanking without some vision on the map there. The blue side is getting back into this game, though. It's 229 to 157. They've lost some VPs, but they've at least minimized the differential between these two teams right now. Hormagaunts trying to get a good flank in here on this Havoc squad. Oh, they retreated. They could have at least forced that Havoc squad off, but I guess Super Hooper was lying in wait there. So probably a good choice. All is quiet in the center as the blue teams are trying to figure out how the heck they're going to break this position now, which is even more fortified with this Landraider on the field and now a Khorne Shrine as well, allowing the Reds some everlasting bloodletters. We've got AceofSwords moving in, but it looks like he's by himself. The Nids didn't quite time their approach properly. Force Commander gets forced off there before the battle really even begins. Another Let the Galaxy Burn going down, forcing off some tactical Marines. Melta going down on that Predator. The Predator needs to survive, I think, at this point for the Blues to stay in here. They're doing some good damage to that Landraider. But the Noise Marines are still blasting away with that dubstep cannon right into the Nid forces. The Chaos Lord is also back there, causing some disruption all over the place. He does eventually get forced off, but during that duration, the Tyranid forces weren't able to do much. Raptors coming in on the flank on this Predator, which I thought was safe. Another Melta's going down. That Predator is not getting out of there alive. It goes down. That's not good at all for AceofSwords. However, there's a big blob suppressed right here. That Zone Throat needs to get in there and drop some artillery shots right into that big pile. Second Carnifex on the field, again with the Thorn back. Oh, nice shot there, right in our faces from that Blastmaster. Obliterating a poor Devastator Marine in that garrison. Heretics go down to the Carnifex. It looks like Ripper's trying to get in there on those Noise Marines and de-set them up. If they retreat, the last second Burrow Strike does knock them back. Ooh, and a big ole abyss right here. Managed to take out one of those Termagant brutes. One will escape. But I think Floyd was focused on the Ravners, and then at the last second went over to take a look at everything getting obliterated by that Imperial Abyss. I think he did lose the Ravners in that exchange as well. A good split on that micro there, confusing Floyd. I think it cost him a couple squads. He's got a Plague Cloud down here on the Orc Guard Tower as well. Devastator's trying to retreat. Let's see if Spear is paying attention. He does not leave position. The Noxious Cloud, I think if he had, those Devastators would have gone down and he would have moved that cloud back and followed him home. But the red team holds the center without much issue at all. The blue team was not quite coordinated there, and I think that cost him that engagement. They managed to do some good damage on that Landraider, but it is getting healed right back up. I think this Carnifex should have been a Venom Cannon. I think going for the second Thornback was a mistake. Looks like we just lost, what was that, the second Termagant, or was that the Hormas? It looks like the Hormas went down over here. 95 to 229. Looking pretty bleak for the blue team right now. I'm not sure if they've really got what they need to break through this at the moment. Got a lot of heavy stuff on the field. There's a liquor coming out for Floid. That Predator going down, and Floyd losing a couple squads there was really the last thing they needed. This central point is so well locked down between the Plague Champ and the Chaos Lord's Landraider. I think they have a good mix of troops. They've got this just huge, heavy pile of range damage and support, and then their two big, beefy melee heroes. Really makes it difficult to approach. Hive Tyrant going for the point-blank decap right in the face of all the chaos. With 60 points, they have to do something. Hive Tyrant gets the decap, and despite being pretty low health, just falls back. They have managed to at least stop the victory point lead at the moment. Let the Galaxy Burn going down once again, doing crazy damage to those Termagants in the one-way conjunction with all those Siege Inferno Bolters. Finally takes out that Nurgle Shrine. The Tyranniformation going down as well. That's the way you want to see it used in conjunction with the rest of the army. Leading up a push, using that ult as a line breaker. Carnifex may be escaping, but it's going to be close. 60 HP. It's going to run on home. I think it'll be safe for the time being. That Thornback will get on home and heal up. This Zone Throw's been on the field a long time, already level 3. I guess not already. We're pretty late into this game. 62 to 206, but it's a 2-0 cap, oddly enough, for the blue team. Force Barrier going down there, buying some time for the Reds to get their troops away without having to fully retreat. We've got the Liquor, just camping out back here, looking for something to get into. These Noise Marines are a tasty target. If he gets a couple quick hits, I think he can kill one model with each swing at this point with how low they are, and then maybe finish off the last one with a Flesh Hook. Let's see what he decides to do. Terminator's decapping the center there. Reds are getting the map back, so the Blues have to act quickly. Lictor's not quite sure what he wants to do. Capillary Tower's going down as the Reds clean up that Tyranniformation. Looks like the Liquor, not actually going for the Noise Marines. Instead trying to go for a decap. That might be a bad idea. If the Chaos Forces turn around and deal with this, the Liquor could go down right here and now. Actually, I think that knockback may finish it off. No, it looks like, fortunately, it's going to head on home. Meanwhile, we've got an engagement brewing in the center here as the blue team has engaged once again with these Assault Terminators trying to do something with this Land Raider. The Worshipping Heretics alongside of that the Zone Throw Warp Shot really slowing down this Land Raider's retreat. I'm still not sure those Assault Terminators are going to be able to do anything. Great support so far, by the way, with AceofSwords Landraider. He's been using the Veil of Time, Landraider, Librarian. He's been using the Veil of Time. He's been using Gate of Infinity. He's been using Smite, Force Barrier. That Librarian's been doing tons of work. And now we've got the Landraider Redeemer on the field. I'm not sure how great this is going to be against the Phobos, especially with all these anti-vehicle threats on the field, but there's nothing really too stationary that can be a big threat. Two Carnifexes, both again getting upgraded with that Thornback. 54 to 157, and the Blues are managing to stay in this game so far. Two Carnifexes against all of this anti-vehicle, actually managing to be a threat. The Thornbacks can tank so much damage. Super Hooper and Fear both sitting on a huge pile of resources. Let's see, Fear opting, we're gonna have a second Land Raider Phobos on the field. Two Phoboses against a Redeemer. That probably doesn't end well for the Redeemer. These two Carnifexes are going to be hard-pressed to get in as well as both of those Phoboses. Is Phoboses plural for Phobos, or is Phobos just plural for Phobos? I don't know. Terminators teleporting in, forcing off those Horn Marines, maybe even taking out the squad. No, not quite. 143 to 54. We've got an orbital bombardment going down. Let's see where the beams land. Everything's hopping inside of the Land Raider. That's the smart choice, but a couple squads don't quite make it. That's going to be it for those Heretics, I think, and that's going to be heavy damage on those Terminators as well. It didn't do a lot of damage, but it bought them time, and with the points being 128 to 54 and a 2-0 cap, that might be all the Blues really needed, is to force off that lockdown chaos position. The two Carnifexes are now moving in. We've got Raptors on the natural blue VP over here, but they're not going to be able to do much more than get a decap. Both sides vying for time and trying to figure out how they're going to re-enter the center of the map. I'd venture to say that maybe the Blues even have the initiative at this point with those two Carnifexes and the Landraider Redeemer out here as a retreat and reinforce point. Raptors going down to everything here on the center point of the map. The two Chaos Heroes now facing off against the two Carnifexes, mono and mono. But I don't think that ends well for those heroes. 54 to 87, and the Blues might be able to pull this out. Suddenly looking pretty good for them as they have a domineering grasp here on the center of the map. These Assault Terminators, now that everything's split up and you're not just fighting a wall of Inferno damage, really able to force things off. And since the Chaos players can't retreat to that Nurgle Shrine anymore, and the Space Marine and Tyranid players do in fact have the Redeemer as a reinforced point, we're kind of seeing the inverse of what we saw in the first half of the game. 49 to 54, and the VPs are even up. This Phobos in a lot of trouble, taking fire from a las cannon. That Devastator finally got upgraded, and these two Thornbacks forcing it off the map. They're not even going to go for the kill, which I think is smart. I think they want to just stay in the middle and hold out. I think Fear does have enough for an Imperial Abyss at this point, so a well-placed one of those could maybe get them the center back. But the VPs are taken away quick. We have the Chaos Lord dropping his blind right here, so the reduction of vision for all the Blues army, we really can't see that with the Fog of War off. Force Commander trying to get on that Phobos. The Reds lost a Terminator model trying to get that center point. They got the decap, but I don't think they're going to be able to hold it. Force Commander chasing away one Phobos. Carnifex is sitting at about half health while the Hive Tyrant gets that central cap. We had another attempted sneaky ninja cap over here by some Chaos Space Marines, but it doesn't look like that worked out too well for them. 54 to 25, and the Reds are suddenly in dire straits. Assault Terminators and three Carnifexes moving in. We've been seeing triple walkers. Oh my gosh, that Thornback charge just completely stomped over an entire squad of heretics. It does go down, but I think they don't care. I think all the Blues really wanted was to stall out for the central VPs. The Reds are nowhere near close getting the cap over there. The GG is dropped, and with only 8 points remaining, the Reds have no chance at victory. These Carnifexes obliterated everything, finally forced back the Phobos, and with the help of the Redeemer, the blue team takes the match in the end. Wow! I didn't think they were going to do that. They finally managed to push this point. This ledge here is definitely an advantageous position for the northern team on this map. It's hard to argue that point, but I think once the Blues finally eliminated that reinforcement point over here, I mean, you can see just all of the death that was around this central location. Once they broke that and got a few vehicles of their own that could really stand up to this Land Raider, it kind of synergized with their whole army. It allowed the Assault Terminators to really do their job. It allowed the Force Commander to get in there as well. And I think that was about all she wrote. Once, I mean, Fear is off the map. He's got nothing left, man. But, oh, look at this fancy little hovering lictor. Man, fun game. Fun game. I enjoyed it a lot. I know you did. Stop by my social media. Stop by the Facebook. I update there. I know I didn't do many casts this past week, so you know, I keep folks updated, and I actually do some giveaways and stuff. On Halloween, I gave away a copy of Evil Within, so you know, there's something in it for you too. It's not just listening to me ramble. I try to give back when I can. I do get a little money from the YouTube channel, so I try to throw it back into the community. Anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling. This is Red-Rupee. Send me your replays. I'd love to cast. Comment on the video, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll be catching you guys next time.